Welcome to Bridge to Local with Affinity Group, the podcast that connects manufacturers to local operators. With deep industry experience and a proven track record of successful partnerships, Affinity Group is your bridge to driving growth and seizing opportunities in food service. Let's build success together, one connection at a time.
Welcome to your Bridge to Local, where we explore the stories, strategies, and people shaping the future of food service. I'm your host, Mindy Kopacz, and today we're digging into a hot topic that's heating up sales conversations across the industry: culinary selling. Across the industry, culinary selling is gaining serious momentum, and for good reason. This approach goes far beyond product specs and price points. It's about flavor, function, and forging real collaboration between chefs and sales teams. So what exactly is culinary selling? And why is it becoming a critical differentiator? I'm joined by a powerhouse panel of industry leaders, each bringing a unique perspective on how culinary teams are shaping sales strategy, driving menu placement, and ultimately closing the deal. Let's get to it. Joining me today is a wonderful panel of experts.
My name is Jim Benner, and I'm the Senior Director of Sales for National and Key Accounts, as well as the Senior Director of Culinary for Lactalis American Group, world's largest dairy company, 9th largest food company in the world. So, glad to be here.
That's amazing.
Right? Crazy.
My name is Derrick Tung. I'm the owner-operator of the Paulie G's in Chicago. So it's Paulie G's Logan Square, Paulie G's Wicker Park, and Paulie G's Wheeling.
Good morning. My name is Jamie Trainis, and I am Market Manager for Affinity Group Minnesota, as well as the chain account lead for the Midwest and part of the culinary team.
Let's define culinary from an industry perspective. We have manufacturers at the table, we have an operator, we have Jamie from our sales agency side of things. Are we all defining culinary the same way?
I think people got to eat, right? There'll be 8 billion people waking up today that are hungry. So I think we're in an industry that is just so spectacular. Cuisine types, you could go down so many paths. Culinary, to me, is foundational to bringing food to every event in life. I think it's a career path that I never, ever imagined I'd be in anything but, because food is fun, and that's my hashtag. Food is fun.
Food is fun.
I would agree. I think culinary brings a professionalism to just food prep, right? I think your average homemaker or person at home or kid at home is just making food and enjoying it. But if you want to go down the culinary path, it requires some level of professional training, whether it's at a restaurant, whether it's at a culinary school. But it's kind of implies that there's something a little bit more and something a little bit more serious about it. It still can be fun. Food can still be fun, but taking it to the next level and understanding you're using the best ingredients or the best technique and figuring out how you want to move forward with it.
Mm-hmm. Culinary makes me think of Ratatouille a little bit, which is probably the best Pixar movie out there. And but to your point, I think anyone can do it.
Yes.
But you do have to put a little bit more work and effort into it and connect all those dots to be organized in order to do it and have fun with it.
I do think we are a unique breed of people in this industry, though, right? I mean, the work ethic required, the sacrifice, the days, nights, weekends, holidays. But there's a lot of fun that goes with it, So
it's bringing joy to people's lives, right? I think that's one of the biggest rewards that you get being in the culinary field. Seeing someone take a bite of something and you see their face light up, or you see them close their eyes and nod really gently because that's just what they needed in that moment, in that day. I agree. Yeah, it's a whole nother beast. You miss all those birthdays and all those other things, and it's a trade-off for sure.
Food draws similar connections for me as music does. It can bring you back to places, and that's a similar form of art, I think, in a different realm.
Yeah, you think of major events in life, happy or sad. What's usually around it? It's food, right?
Food, music,
right?
Yeah, all those experiences that bring up those emotional attachments.
Bringing people together, breaking bread.
100%.
Yeah, conversations like this.
Yeah, you taste something and all of a sudden you're back in Italy, back in Spain, back in Minnesota.
Buffalo, New York.
Buffalo, New York.
Go Bills. Thank you. Gotta get that in.
You're in Bears country now.
Easy.
How do culinary teams, from the supplier side to our sales team side, how do culinary teams influence the sales process?
So speaking from an operator side, I think it starts with nowadays it starts with social media. I mean, that's what drives people in the door, right? We've been noticing the biggest push for us are we call them pop-up collaborations. So we'll find a local restaurant or a local chef or something that's tied to like a current situation that we can tie into some type of pizza. Maybe it's a charity. Maybe it's something else. But what we want to do is draw attention to it and help continue to promote it through social media, because that drives people in through the door. Pop-up culture has been growing faster and faster and is way stronger than it should be, in my opinion. People are willing to wait 3 to 4 hours in line for a pop-up in the city from a different city that is well known, where there's great local food already. Why would you wait 4 hours? But nonetheless, it's drawing people in, and people are willing to wait for those lines. And more than ever, people are looking at their phones all the time, and that drives that decision-making process. So I think it starts with, I hate to say, it's unfortunate that it's social media. And then once you get them in the door from there, I think it's, working with the front of house to let them know what are the specials, what are we trying to push, where are we going from there? And then from the supplier side, just making sure your quality of ingredients, your technique and execution are on point, because you have to, once you get them in the door, it's your chance to lose them, right? So you have them there. You got to make sure you present yourself fully and get it going from there.
When you collaborate, do you steer towards causes typically, or do you do trends too, like a local birria maker that has the best, beef cheek ever? I don't know. What do you go for?
Absolutely. We do a little bit of both. So I think it depends on, what causes are near and dear to our hearts, our staff's hearts, and things like that, as well as, if there is a chef that we're trying to highlight in some fashion. And it can go both ways. This is very much the whole, every couple, there's someone dating up and someone dating down, right? So when you're collabing with someone, are they bringing you up because they have more clout in the social media world and in the culinary world, or are you helping bring someone else up? And it's very much you should kind of give both ways type of deal. So it kind of helps everyone around.
So are you looking at Insta, or, what's the
platform?
What's the platform?
So our platform is mostly Insta. I have not jumped on TikTok as much as I should, just because I do know that's kind of the next generation where we should be chasing. I just haven't had the patience or time to really delve into the TikTok aspect. But it's something that as we continue to grow as a company, I know we'll probably have to bring on a social media handler to be able to manage all that stuff. But for now, Instagram is kind of where we've built our focus.
It's like the sweet spot. Facebook is a little passe, I think, and for my folks really enjoy it, Yeah. Man, I'm ragging on my folks today. Oh my God, love you, Dad.
You definitely see it in generations, right? So I think it depends on what you're targeting. Are you targeting the generation that is a bit older, that has the money to spend? They're the retirees or the ones that are successful, and the older parents that want to come out. Are you targeting the current dinks or the younger couples? Or are you targeting that next generation that's coming up and that, is going to influence all the trends and how everything moves in the next 10 years? And I think the right answer is you got to hit them all in some fashion. And you can't take one strategy and spread it across all three equally. You have to have very different approaches to them. And for all that to happen takes a lot of energy and time and strategy.
I think my culinary background helped me be successful on the selling side, because going to school and working the trenches, that's the foundation of my career. I reflect back on that. And then I'm comfortable walking into a kitchen environment, no matter what the operator type is. And we kind of are like Terminators. We look at the menu, we look at the equipment, and then you present, right? You present your brand, your product with confidence. And if you're a good salesperson, you better be selling the right product to the right customer. But it all goes back to being a chef. Now, I wore the white coat for many years. Now it's a sport coat, right? From the kitchen, the butcher block, to the boardroom. I try to relate back the chef in me, the sales guy, to Derrick now. And I'm sure as an operator, and I remember when I was a chef, if someone came in to try to sell me something that made no sense or was just puking all over himself trying to pitch something unprepared, as a chef, I don't have time for you, right? So when I came to Lactalis, there wasn't anybody with culinary experience at all in our sales and no marketing. Thank you, Sarah, for helping me get started on the marketing side. And honestly, we put our salespeople through training at the Culinary Institute, not to become a chef, but to understand a day in the life of a chef, how a chef thinks, how he talks, what are some hot spots. And then with all the data that has now been brought into our our industry, taking those trends, right, and what's on point, and bringing that forward. So I want to make sure, as you know, I lead a culinary team and a sales team. We're all in sync. We're all talking the same story, and I'm making sure that our salespeople are well educated so that they can go in and approach customers. And then I bring in the chef for when there's ideation, menu design, or help with wherever we can be a source. So it's a long answer, and I'm sorry, but being a chef to being in sales has been really the foundation for me.
I mean, it's so important. I think if you're right, if a rep comes in and does not know your operations in any fashion or doesn't understand how the kitchen works, you may not even get to the product, because at that point, you know, you've disassociated and you're not interested in what they have to say because you can't relate to them.
And we do a lot of national account, big chains, right? There's 3 gatekeepers in a national account. You have the culinary team, you have the marketing team, and then you have supply chain. And at any one point, there could be someone that can kill the deal, right, for whatever reason. So you got to get the chef to like it. It's got to work in their operations. You got marketing people that want to see what's on trend and look to the future. And then sourcing agents and supply chain people that want the best price, availability, delivered on time. It's crazy, but it's all back to the chef.
What makes selling the products and or services to the operator challenging or difficult? Budget? Is it labor? Is it speed? Is it someone who just doesn't understand what we're trying to do? What are some of the hurdles that would make selling difficult?
I think complacency. I mean, I think oftentimes there are people that just want to keep doing what they're doing and not change paths. I think there's been a lot of forced change that people have been a little bit more accustomed to as of late in the last 5 years. And so if they've got something that's working and you might have a different suggestion for them, they might not have time to adjust and pivot. And even if it's an awesome idea and it could help grow top line sales. So for me, I think sometimes I run into complacency. And then at other times, I think I run into some operators that feel like they really want to save pennies, and I'm trying to help them figure out how to make some dollars. And it you know, it's changing that mindset a little bit. I'm going
to say something that might tick some people off, but the economy is one thing, right? People are trying to shore up their menus and cost factors, but I think distribution is very challenging in our industry, you know, because those big distributors and broadliners, they're interested in their brands, maybe not so much in my brand. And that's why the operator is so important, because we want to work with someone like Derrick who wants our product. And then he can tell the distributor, I want Jimmy's cheese. I don't want your brand of cheese, right? And it's a real hurdle in our industry. They're focused on their brands.
Oh, because their margin's better, right? Because they're pushing their margin.
Right,
so
right.
They're watching their bottom line.
And quality matters in the decision making. You know, we're a premium supplier, and you want a premium product on your pizza, and that's why we have a great relationship. And so we put a lot of effort. Certainly, we have to deal with the distributors, and there's a team that does that. I did it for years. Now I'm focused on just operator large chains, guys like Derrick that are, you know, emerging and growing, and we want to grow with them. So distribution's a little tight.
I think you have to know the operator that you're approaching, right? I think, like Jamie mentioned, like at some point, some operators are looking just to put out the cheapest product, mass produce, and make as much money as they can at the bottom line. And then you have other operators that are looking for the best quality product, no matter the cost, because they know that their target market will pay that cost. And then you have everyone in between.
Sure.
So understanding, you know, before going in, you have to understand what your operator wants to do, where is their focus, and where is that in between to how to approach. I think my biggest frustration is we get a lot of folks that come in and they want to suddenly come in and say, well, hey, I know you use a lot of mozzarella. We have mozzarella. Just sub out all your mozzarella right now and we'll save you 2 cents of whatever or 5 cents of whatever. Let me try to compare and give you on price only. I mean, this is a stranger that we've never worked with, that we have no relationship with, and they're coming in and they're trying to make a sale. And it's very obvious they're trying to make a hard sale. You need to take the time to know what they want, build that trust and relationship, maybe take a smaller sale of some sort, not in a major product that we're already using, and then over time build some trust, and then we can have conversations about subbing things out, right? Not mozzarella, clearly. Just an example. This is not...
The podcast was almost over.
Am I sweating over? Jamie's about to throw me out the window.
Suddenly in hives, hold on. Can we get an EpiPen?
But it really comes down to, like, you need to know your operator before you approach them and somehow build that relationship.
You said the word trust, right?
Yeah.
Like, you got to trust in the person. You got to trust in the product.
Yep.
Like, if you're not in your stores, you want to know that whatever, whether it's my cheese or whoever's pepperoni, it's the one you want, the one you like, and it's consistent, and you can go put your head on your pillow and trust it's going to be okay.
Absolutely.
Right.
Jim said it earlier when he was talking about how Culinary helps him as a salesperson. It's knowing how not to be a time waster. I mean, God, you're busy. Like we don't want to go in and see the operator and take time away from your day, your operation, and have it be worthless.
Yeah.
So that's important. The other thing is we can go in there with 3 cubic feet of space, and we know how to operate in a kitchen. And neither one of us are like the tiniest little guys ever, but we can work our way through a line.
Totally.
It's kind of fun.
And you literally have 15 seconds to capture their attention. When especially on a first time introduction. So you better know and be prepared. All of our team, they do a lot of research before they even make the sales call. The process begins understanding the customer, like you said, Derrick.
Absolutely.
Understanding the menu and where do we apply. And there's a lot of customers we just might not be the right fit. So time is valuable. Move on to the next one. And
I do think it's interesting, and this is underrated, is that no is the second best answer a salesperson can get. I think in Minnesota we've got the passive maybe all the time. I don't mind a no. I can cross things off and move on to the next thing. That's fine. So
I think people want to be kind, so they'll always say maybe or come see me again. We'll talk about it later. I think a lot of people are afraid to give the hard no, but I also think that's starting to change too.
Jim and I don't have toes. They can't hurt us.
No.
We'll cross it off and move on.
Water off the duck's ass. It just goes right, goes right off me.
I think the other thing people can do is like if they come in and they actually come in for a dinner service, that means a lot. So,
wow.
Because then they see what's going on. They understand the product. They've taken the time to actually get to know the product and get to know the operation a little bit. Something as simple as that. And then at the end of dinner, shooting a compliment over and saying, hey, I work for so-and-so. Would love to talk more. Let me know. Drop a card. No pressure. That creates more of an impact than someone just cold calling, right?
That's awesome feedback.
I mean, it's something so simple, but
everyone's expense account just went up.
Yeah.
I mean, it helps the restaurant.
Disapproved.
Right? Absolutely. And it's one of these things where it's like
you're spot on.
Right.
That's how did we meet,
knowledge.
right?
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Eliza brought me in to meet. Well, we met at the Pizza Expo, you and your trip, and then I'm like, I got to go see this guy, and we built this unbelievable relationship.
It makes a difference because you feel that support and you have that chance to actually get to know someone.
He's like, we don't see each other a lot, but he's like, you said bring a customer, right?
Yeah.
And we love him. And he's a brand ambassador for us and got to meet his wife, his daughter. He knows my kids. Like we just built this relationship. It's all about
It's a
forming
relationship business. Just as much as it is about food, right?
Mindy, you're so right. It's a people business with a lot of food around it. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Right?
Do you guys text or call? Like, what's the go-to for you two?
Just casual sometimes.
Yeah.
Or, I'm not a big social media guy, but I do follow Derrick because I think he's really good at what he does and his team. And at industry events and dinners and just whenever we can. He's come to Buffalo, plant tours, trip to Niagara Falls, right?
Smash that like button.
Like and subscribe.
Yeah, like and subscribe. Let's go.
What advice would you give to our non-culinary sales team? Our goal, if I can speak on behalf of you, Jamie, for a second, is to educate those who didn't grow up in a kitchen in the industry to become just as effective sellers as the ones who did. And Jamie and the group of our culinarians work with our sales team to say it's more than just showing up with your bag that day. It's understanding the challenges. It's understanding solutions. What solutions can you provide rather than features and benefits of a product? But do you have any advice, being on both sides, all of you in the room, of in the kitchen and then, well, Derrick, you're still in the kitchen, but Jim and Jamie are out of the kitchen now. How would you train the people like me who didn't spend time in the kitchen to be an effective seller?
I think just working collaboratively with all of the different channels of our business and using the tools that are around you. I think some of the things that we hit home on when we discuss it would even be direct them towards artificial intelligence and say, hey, throw that into ChatGPT and get a response and use that tool. It's free. Don't bring in things that are a one-off. If there's anything that I think chefs hate, it's when you bring in an item that's a one-off and then all of a sudden they add something to their order guide that they use for one dish, for one day part. and that's a hassle. And so just I think little things like that can be a nuisance. But I think moreover, it's just making sure that they collaborate with all of the team members, business intelligence, culinary, working through their sales leaders, and just combining all of that and then putting the marketing tools against it and just going prepared. Again, I think our biggest, beyond building relationships, is after you've earned that trust, is making sure that you're not a time waster as well. And that's a big part of earning that trust. So, but yeah, you can't just go in with a bag of stuff and peddle your wares anymore.
Hey guys, you have 5 minutes to talk.
You gotta be a little more prepared these days.
Yeah.
So the 5 Ps that I've lived by and I coach my team to is proper planning prevents poor performance. Right?
That's great. I got to write that down.
Pop those peas.
There's a 6th P, but we're on radio. I don't want to say that.
Thanks for cleaning it up for us.
You gotta plan, and then you gotta be a good listener, right? If you get the opportunity to actually have a face-to-face with the chef or the owner of the operation, be a good listener. Don't make a promise you can't keep, because you lose all your integrity. Be smart. You're paid to think, right? You don't have to be a chef to be good at this. It helps, certainly. But do your homework and go in, listen, come back, ask questions with your peers, come to the chef team. Hey, what about, we used to call them Jevas. Do you ever think about this? Do you ever think about that? Right? I got a lot of Binnerisms. So
That's such a New York. Why did I feel like upstate New York with the Jeva?
do you ever think about that? You got to think about what you're pitching. Know your audience, right?
Did you ever think about ranch dressing?
Not in Buffalo, man. No, it's blue cheese. For all you listeners, no way ranch goes on a wing, period. Thank you.
We love you, Hidden Valley Kitchen.
Yeah, I know. I just thought of that. I'm like, oh, shoot.
Are they a sponsor?
Yeah.
They rub.
All right, Derrick, what types of insights do you look for from your suppliers? What provides you the most value? Are you looking for trend data from a partner?
No, not currently. I feel like at my level of operations, we're not really sitting down and looking at trend data to see what's going on. I feel like from a culinary trend standpoint, social media, again, moves faster than anything else in the world. And it's one of those, you see it, and all of a sudden you see it over and over again because every restaurant's adopted it. And then by the time it comes out in the local food magazine or the QSR, FSRs, it's already like 4 months behind, maybe even a year plus behind. So you have to either, be on top of it because your team knows and they're watching out, or you're behind it. So I don't think there's specific trends that we're looking for. From a data perspective, I don't know. Do we get a lot of data from?
I have it if you want it, but you're on trend. You're doing things that are leading, in my opinion, the industry. People are looking to you, Derrick, for what you're doing and want to replicate and mimic a lot of what you do. You're on trend. You're totally on trend. Big chains, these CMOs, these chief marketing people with big chains, they want as much data as we're willing to give them. They want to know what's happening by demographic, by regionality, what's on trend. I'll just use, top 10 pizza toppings,
Mike's
right?
Hot Honey, Detroit-style pizza,
Totally.
these types of things.
Yeah, they want to know, based on the customer type, what's good for them. And they're planning their menu cycles 18 and 24 months from now. So they want to get ahead of their competition. They want to see what's happening and what's the future hold. So we invest heavily in data to support those large chains, but I would do the same for Derrick if he wants it, right?
Yeah, I think we need to sit down and take a look, because I don't think I've ever really sat to analyze the data and see, because I think we're constantly in response mode to see, this is trending up, this is happening, let's do something that ties to it so we can tie it to social media and bring folks in.
Crazy quick story, because we have so much data. We had a really tight growing national chain, and we shared all kinds of information. We knew their customer all over the country, who their demographic was. And they literally came to us, and they were looking to open a spot in Midtown Manhattan, a pizza chain, national pizza chain. That's a crazy place to go because of all the independents in New York, right?
It is.
And they said, what borough or what part of Manhattan should we go to because you know our customer? We're their real estate agent now?
But do you have that data?
We knew exactly where their clients were living in New York because of the amount of data. So they relied on us.
Well, you cemented your partnership with
Totally.
them, it sounds like.
It's really fascinating when they approached us. Where do you think we should go?
That's impressive. I did not know you had that level of data, like access to that level.
We
of
do.
data.
It's crazy. We had all this data, didn't know what to do with it, so we hired these brilliant minds to slice and dice it and allow our salespeople to present it with confidence, right? And it's really benefited us. We become a true partner and a source to these major clients across the country.
See, that sounds amazing. I think as a small company trying to grow into a mid-sized company, data like that is always what we're missing. Understanding the neighborhoods outside of what you can just find on Google and the walkability scores and stuff like that. Like understanding that market would make a huge difference in how we search for our real estate in our next project.
There's a guy here in Chicago. He came to me. He's like, hey, we're thinking of branching out into Indiana and a couple other states around there. And he goes, can you, where should I go? I'm like, oh, well, I can certainly help you there. Just give me a few days. And I call my guy, and he brings it up. And like, we think these would be good townships for you in this state. How about that?
That's awesome.
Right?
I think a lot of our customers really appreciate the ingredient trend data as well. I mean, from both sides of the spectrum, it can give you reassurance on the items that are up and coming and starting to trend. And you can say, wow, I'm ahead of the curve here. Or maybe it identifies something that you didn't realize is on trend or trending, and you might want to add that. But it could also be items that, are in ubiquity where everyone's using them, and you might see it and say, oh, that's low-hanging fruit. Why am I not just doing something simple like this? So I think our customers appreciate that kind of snapshot of, in their segment, what the trends are against ingredients.
I think that'd be very useful too, right? I think as long as we can get that data before a report like that before it comes out in magazines a year later type of deal, and knowing we're on trend, or hey, this is a trend we haven't looked at and what we need to chase.
So your key suppliers who you have good relationships with, when you're ready, you should reach out to them and say, hey, what's up and coming? What do you have any trend information? Not every manufacturer. Costs a lot to get it, right? And Affinity Group, you guys invest a lot.
Yeah, we can supply that.
Affinity Group invests a lot in it as a sales agency. We as a manufacturer do as well. And then our two teams kibitz too, right? My trend people talk to Mindy's trend people. They're way smarter than me, so I just push them off to the side and let them talk.
That's like the key. Surround yourself with people smarter than you, right? That's how you get to success.
That's right.
What is the timeline for trends that you're seeing, social media specifically? I would imagine it's very compressed. Dubai chocolate is out there, it's a buzz. And then like a day later, you're walking past a restaurant and they're offering samples of a Dubai chocolate bagel or whatever.
And now pistachios are in short supply.
Yeah, right. So what is that?
100%.
Really?
It's accurate.
I'll give you a live example with our organization. Remember that feta with the roasted tomato dish?
Oh, yeah.
That put our manufacturing of feta in Wisconsin into a crazy position where we had to literally, like, it was put in the plant at like max capacity, like overnight. Where can I get more feta? Like, we're scrambling, and we literally just built another feta plant out in California because of this. It stayed on trend.
I
too.
was just going to ask that.
It stuck. That one stuck. The feta business, especially in retail. We have a huge retail presence.
Yep.
And that video, we talk about it all the time. So, Derrick, I need you to do one on fresh mozzarella. Okay? Could you get going on that?
I've been trying, man. We're working on this.
Because we have a lot to sell. So,
How much did it change your feta sale? I mean, it sounds like it significantly changed it, but how much of an uptake did you see?
in retail, it was over 50%, like overnight. It was crazy.
Overnight.
That's the craziest.
Literally. And so, food service, retail, right? Like, where you put the capacity?
Yeah.
Because of margin, right? Retail always wins, and that's okay.
Yeah.
We're still the cool kids.
No chip on our shoulders here. We're fine. Everything's fine.
Everyone wants to hang out with the food service people.
They do.
Right? So we had to really balance our production.
Yeah.
And we do work with some co-manufacturers and help us, and it was crazy, and it still is. Like, our feta sales are crazy.
Yeah, that was an overnight
Sensation. Overnight. Now cottage cheese is a big thing.
Really?
Right?
What's going on
Yeah.
with cottage cheese?
Well, it's high protein.
Oh, I do have a giant tub of cottage cheese at home because of a TikTok I saw that was like, turn this into your everyday breakfast. Yeah.
So Cottage cheese will be coming soon. We
By
actually,
the time this
we,
airs?
we actually already have a brand in retail through our craft acquisition. So, but food service soon.
Yeah, I don't know how compressed it is, though. It feels regionally maybe it's compressed, but by the time things get to the Midwest, I mean, I think, and then it stays in the Midwest for a minute before it goes away. So I think as from a manufacturer perspective, I mean, you've got to, crisscross the whole country to really experience the lifespan of it.
Yeah.
So
I think the Midwest has always been the last to catch on trend for a long time, just because things come from the coast quicker. But again, social media is just, that timeline is getting faster and faster. It's crazy how fast you see things now. It's nuts. It's nuts.
Dubai chocolate's the bomb. I'll tell you that right now.
Oh man, I had a Dubai, like an ice cream Dubai chocolate sandwich the other day. It was phenomenal. It was so good. I couldn't believe it.
They're loving this right now.
We're cutting all of this. Derrick, how do you like to be presented new products?
I think it comes down to what we talked about before. I think people have to take a moment and get to know our operations and get to know us, and then find a way onto our calendar in some fashion, right? Aptly speaking, NRA is in town right now. The reason why I go every year is to look for new product, to see what's out there. We have about 20% of the guests that come through are vegan. And so designing vegan food, vegan pizza, things like that, seeing the new vegan cheeses. I had a vegan salmon yesterday that blew my mind. I couldn't, if you closed your eyes, the smoke was there, the texture was there. You would have to be really picky to say that this was not good salmon at this point. So finding products like that, I have no idea what to do with that. I can't do anything with that right now, I think, in pizza. But at some point down the line, I'll have that in the back of my head and be able to play with that and understand, okay, maybe I should go chase that and find out how I can work this into a dish that we want to use. I think, people always like to believe that they came up with their own idea. So if you can find a way to convince them that they found a product that hasn't been seen before or that they want to integrate it and they made that active decision, it drives the process much more quickly. So if someone's coming in providing one sample of one specific thing, it's going to be a really hard sell. If you come in with 4 or 5 different products and say, hey, check this out, this is a new line of stuff we're doing, and even if you have one target product, let them be the one to taste it and find it and be like, oh my God, this stands out. This is truly potentially trend setting. Let me figure out how to work this into the menu, right? And so it's a combination of everything, earning the trust, and then kind of what's the term with that movie where you place the thought in someone's head, deep in their head? Do you remember with
the movie guy?
Oh,
Sorry.
There was a movie that it was all about this man and his wife, and he tried to place a thought in her head, and eventually she went crazy and killed herself because I forgot the name of it.
I like what you're saying, though. It's like you show up, hey, I got a great idea. I'm glad you thought of it.
Yeah, exactly, right? People want to be able to drive the decision from within, from their own selves. Because if it feels like pressure from someone else, everyone's always going to have a little bit of defensiveness and a little bit more resistance to it. So coming in, finding time on the schedule, building that trust, and then saying, I just want to bring you a bunch of samples. Try the stuff. Let us know what you think. And then when they find the product or multiple products that they're like, this is really good, we could definitely use this, I think it drives from internally and makes it easier to get that conversion as opposed to, let me bring in this one product. You really have to try this. That hard sale is way more difficult.
We try to ask a lot of questions and then listen, and sometimes that elicits the response that you're looking for, the response that you need. And I think you mentioned it, Jim. That's a skill, like being an effective listener and not just waiting for your turn to talk.
Absolutely.
It's really
you
important.
pick up on a lot of stuff
Because customers want to be heard. They're proud of their business, and rightfully so. And you ask do you ever think? But be a good listener. Take back the ideas if you need to. You should be prepared, though, to answer on the spot, obviously.
The movie's name was Inception.
Yes. Yeah.
You need to incept the idea that it was their own idea somehow.
That's cool.
And trying to figure out how to work that into it.
And I like giving credit, too. Like, that's a good idea. I'm going to steal that. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Like, that's always fun.
Right?
Complimentary.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Do you prefer the new items shrouded in a concept or just, hey, here's a new item, what would you do with it? As opposed to Jamie might come in with a new item and 17 different ways he might use it.
So I think this is where the trend data we were talking about could be potentially useful. If you have a client that's already using a new item, let's say balsamic vinegar or something, a new type of balsamic vinegar of some sort, understanding how a place that is successful that the owner's probably heard of and wants to emulate and saying they just adopted this product, they're using it in this fashion. Here's 3 other ways that you could potentially use it, but the sky's the limit. Giving them an idea and some leadway definitely helps. and understanding the product a little bit more.
Yeah, I think this is where this brings in the culinary,
Yeah.
right? So we'll new product launch, we'll come up with concepts, ideas, and we'll actually have them vet it and test it externally, where interviews take place through these data sources, and they'll ask the consumer in the survey what they think of the concept, the idea, beauty shots, how's it look, all those things. So we can come in and say, okay, for this product X, here's 12 tested concepts. Maybe one or two of these could fit your operation. And it just brings more value to the selling cycle.
Yeah, and by the way, it's using all of your existing ingredients.
Right. We cross-merchandise. That's where the proper planning comes in, right? So we'll look at the menu, and then you cross-merchandise ingredient X, Y, and Z.
And then they're like, wow, this person's not a pain in my ass. I like this.
Right.
This is okay.
But here's the new product, and then put all your other products that are in the storeroom or in the cooler, in the freezer together.
Well, and they've done the work, and that's really what it is, right? Like if I still have to do all the work around it, it's way harder to find the time and strategy and creativity to do it. So if someone comes in and presents some stuff, especially with variable aspects of how to use it and variable products tied to it, it makes it easier.
It seems like you'd tweak it. And I haven't known you for that long, but it seems like we'd bring you some good ideas and then you'd tweak it and make it awesome. And then we would be able to say, holy crap, this is what we wanted, And I think that's where that relationship's special too. Because then I would say, can I show this to someone else? Or do you want to keep that to yourself, And we'd respect that.
Oh, no, absolutely.
We rely on people like Derrick. We have these brand ambassadors. So if we have a product, we want feedback, we'll tee it up, send it to them, give them a timeline, give us your feedback, good, bad, whatever. What would you do with it? It's all part of our building the culinary sales support with our organization.
Thank you so much for being here. This was a very fun and insightful conversation. Hope to have you back.
Loved it.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was great.
Thanks, guys.
You've been listening to Bridge to Local with Affinity Group, where manufacturers and local operators connect for success. Stay tuned for more insights and visit affinitysales.com to see how we can help drive your business forward. See you next time.